no one can ever stop you from shining. They can just delay you. Yeah, that's the only thing they can do, is maybe to delay what is meant for you, that you don't get it today. Yeah, definitely it's coming. But I don't ever say I didn't get that, or I will never be that because that particular person took that thing away. There's nobody who has that power to take anything away from you. Nobody. And no one could ever stop or dim your lights or your greatness. But they doing it even to me now at my level with the Grammy, with so many big records, they're doing it to me now.
So, welcome back to Mission Makers. I am so excited to be here in the studio, in this beautiful studio in London with Zakes Bantwini, who is performing in London tomorrow. And Zakes, you're an absolutely incredible artist. You've had over a 20-year-long career. You've won many awards along the way, 4 times platinum single, Grammy Award. The list is endless, and we are going to dive into, a lot of the spirituality and the mindset around your work, your art, your passion.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for joining us. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me, man. I just arrived.
Yeah.
We have an inside joke in South Africa. One of our ministers, when they asked him a question, I think he was trying to dodge the answers. Like, no, I just arrived. I just arrived. So it's just actually, I've just touched down in London, and it's amazing, man. It's always a good energy to come here, and I'm so happy to be chatting to you today.
Well, thank you. So we always like to take it a little bit back to the beginning and kind of, dissect some of the context around your childhood. So are there any pivotal moments or things that you think your fans should know that really defined you, that shaped your vision for the future, especially in the context of the post-apartheid era?
Ask me that question again.
You just arrived. No, so really going back to your childhood,
yes.
When you look back, is there anything that comes to mind that was really defining, that made you like who you are today?
Yes, television. Yeah, I think television saved my life. Most of the things that I wanted to have and wanted to aspire to be, I could only see them on television because there was nobody who had or possessed or who actually just had a life that I thought was what was worth inspiring us at that time. Growing up, because I was born during apartheid, so I lived like 9 to 10 years of my life under apartheid.
Yeah.
And then after that, then South Africa was then I think the first president of democracy, Nelson Mandela, in 1994 was probably 13, 14 years old. So you can actually say that I lived 15 years I got into my teen years, under apartheid, really. So at that time, Black people in South Africa weren't allowed to have anything. They weren't even allowed to buy a house. They weren't allowed to have a loan. No credit, nothing. All you had to do was to go work and come back and be home, and just then get sick and then die. That's what it was. And we were all trained to be bus drivers, nurses, maybe and a teacher, and then that's it. And then maybe you can then do all the work that had to do with maybe your hands, be an artisan and stuff like that. This way just the thing. So as you know, you wouldn't have a life that could give you a house or a car or just a better livelihood, or even just to think of going on holiday, because you wouldn't even go on holiday. Black people weren't allowed to even go on holiday. So the only thing that really saved me was watching TV, because television would have people who look like me who were living a better life. And I wanted to be like those people, but I could only see that through music videos, So I thought that only musicians who could live a life like that. So I think maybe that's why the spark of like the music, like I think it's music which can bring me this closer to this life that I want to live. And
Absolutely. And so along that journey, when did you discover dance music?
So I grew up as a dancer, So I actually did so many dance genres except ballroom dance, but contemporary ballet, all these genres, I did them. I had an opportunity to come. I lived in Paris, France, teaching and dancing. And then I got bored after some time because I felt like it was a world on its own, but nobody knew what we were doing there, except the theater lovers. But you wouldn't actually hear or read about best choreographer from whatever, on television, or see them on billboards and stuff. So I got actually bored after some time, because also my choreographer, my boss, knocked the love of dance and theater off my system, because he was so strict. He was so strict. So just wanted to get out of that space. And then the next thing that I wanted to do was the music, and my mother said to me, if you wanna do music, then you have to go study. You're gonna have to study everything. And I was like, and my mother was the person saying, you're not gonna study music, you're not gonna study something else and then do music and say and have something to fall back on. I don't have the fall back on or whatever. It has to be, choose something that you wanna do and do it. You're not gonna do that something and be like, I'm gonna do this thing just in case I'm gonna fall back on. My mother never believed on falling back on something like that. Like, you have to do something and just make sure that it works. Your plan B must make sure that the plan A works. So so I grew up with the mother like that. And I think I messed around while I was still in high school with just writing songs and all of those things. So when I went back after dance, when I went back home, we have to go and study music. So I went to study music. I studied jazz. That's when I met a lot of guys. When we were studying music. One of the guys, who are known. I met Natty Coffee when we were studying music together. A guy called Demo studied music together, and a guy called Ngobi Mondli. So many guys who are doing great, when it comes to the music industry. But a guy that really, really introduced me and said dance music, dance, not really house, but like dance music, because was my friend, a friend of mine called Pizzo, because I loved R&B. So I was like, I would study jazz, but in my free time, then I would play R&B, because I can play bass and piano. And my boy will always program dance music, quite at that time, and he was like, you always program these R&B things, man. You must program Kwaito, So I started programming Kwaito, and that obviously just introduced me to a lot of dance music, and then house music. Then I was introduced through, I think there was this album called 45 BPM. That's the album. That's the first album. And I think the BPM was so slow, but that's really what really introduced something which was a bit different, which wasn't produced from home, which was dance. And then from there, then the spark, of like this dance music. And then I started going in and listening to more of dance music. There's so many compilations that were done, the likes of DJ Fresh in South Africa, Oskido Church Grooves. But a song that really said to me, I love this kind of music, was Rocco Rondamo, like Musica Feliz. That was my defining moment. That song, I think it's a song that made me really like fall in love with this genre. Yeah.
And what age were you at that point?
I was tertiary, so I was around maybe 21 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, 21.
Nice.
I'm 43 now. So yeah, around 21 years old, that's when I was like, actually, But I started programming it like 2020 already. But I think like 2020, 2021, when that song, it's really the song that really was like, I love this song. So Be My Friends, all these other songs that came after that I really loved. But I think that rock record, was like, yeah. So when other house classic came after, I was already sold. Yeah.
Well, it's good that the plan worked out.
Yeah.
And also amazing because obviously in South Africa, there's just such a humongous electronic dance music scene.
Yeah.
So we have a tradition on this show that we love to uncover the meaning of our guest's name.
Yes.
And see if there's any interesting correlation. So are you aware of like what your name means?
Yeah.
So, perfect.
So Zakele is more or less like an acronym, like a nickname from Zakes.
Yes.
So it's come from every Zakele, because I'm Zakele, my government name is Zakele.
Yeah.
So every Zakele in my country is a Zakes. You know, so it's like every Zakele you see Zakele. It's like knowing someone like Michael being Mike. You know, so it's the same thing. So it's Zakes. But Bantwini, I was given by a guy called Joe, you know, from my township, Sugar K. That guy he was convinced that I was Bantwini, so you are a people's person. So Bantwini means people's person. So then he gave me the name Bantwini, you know. So when I was looking for an artist name, my friend again, Pizzo, said, why don't you just put this name together? Zakes Bantwini. Put it together. So the funniest thing is that people think it's my surname, you know. And then sometimes say to my wife, why are you not a Bantwini? You know,
Well, it's beautiful because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the name Zakele means create something for yourself. And then obviously,
it's build it for yourself. Yes,
exactly. So it's sort of like this duality of self-creation and community responsibility,
yes,
right?
Of course,
which is beautiful. And so along the way, you've become a father, and undoubtedly that's a very profound experience. So how has your understanding of parenthood evolved? And I think it's really important, you know, to talk about this aspect of our goals as humans. And especially in the music industry, it's so tough to balance both. So like, what advice do you have, you know, to others who want to have children and do that?
Yeah, I'd say just go on that particular journey when you are ready. You know, you really want to be there and you really want to be present, at least to raise a family. I mean, I have a very young family, so you know, so the traveling is challenging, and these young people, they grow so fast. So I'll advise that when you do that when you are ready. You know, when you are ready to take that full responsibility, because money doesn't grow kids.
Absolutely.
Your presence does. You know, and with our traveling, I mean, we hardly ever home. So I'd advise whoever that wants to start a family and say, if you think that you're still gonna travel a lot, I'll say maybe wait. You know, maybe you need to, or not unless you have a plan of just traveling with your family, which is something that you can do. You know, put kids onto homeschool your kids, and you can travel with them. That's another plan. Another plan is for you to just maybe wait until we are less busy. Another plan maybe is to do both, you know.
Like you did.
You know, like I'm doing, you know. So but I'll say I mean, but also, man, it's you cannot wait forever also.
Absolutely.
You know, it's beautiful to still have your a family while you're still active.
Absolutely.
You know, when you're not older and stuff. But my advice would be to say, just make sure that you don't think that because you have money and you can provide for your family, that then because you can provide, and then that makes you a dad. It just makes you a provider. To be a dad, you just need to be available. So this thing of throwing like, but you know, I'm busy, I'm working. You should think about it before you can have a family, and saying like, in as much as you can be busy, but you have to be available.
Absolutely. The most priceless thing is time, right?
It is. You're definitely going to have to make it. Like for me, I should, it makes sense for me to actually live in Europe now. It really make a lot of sense. And the traveling that I do, but it's something that I knew about it. That's why. So I always travel back home. You know, I would do my gigs and I would travel back home. I would sometimes take breaks and be like, okay, I'm not taking gigs for this week and that other week. I sometimes miss on big opportunities, you know, but there are big opportunities for other people. But for me, it's an opportunity for me to be with my kids. So it really don't feel I don't feel as if they're robbing me of opportunities that are there, because I was ready when I had them.
Well, massive respect, man.
Yeah.
I read in a previous interview, and I was really fascinated by this, that you have a very unique approach to writing lyrics where you really anchor them more around the instruments that you're working with. Right? So how does that like sort of change? Like, how do you write music, or what do you think about when you're writing music for a sax that has saxophone or a guitar, and the instruments that they choose? Like, is there a particular mood or style that changes?
Yeah. So for me, it's like, really music to me, it's seriously a gift. Like hence that's why I can't really brag about the stuff that I've done before, because when I really dissect, like, how did I come up with that thing? I myself cannot tell. It's just like something just come and said, there you go, it's a gift.
Yeah, it's a
Do
transmission.
this. Yeah, it's just like, do this. So I'm really not a brag. It's like, because I really feel like, someone is giving me this, and they are not, and I have no, what you call this thing, I have no knowledge of how I come up with some things like that. It's only when in hindsight, or when the music play, because it just comes when the music, when I program or I hear an instrument playing, then my mind will say, what am I writing this for? And what melody, and what am I? So for every time I write, like you've mentioned, I'll always write as an instrument. That's one thing. Like I will write as a guitar, I will write as a cello, I will write as a saxophone, I write as a trombone. I usually don't write as a vocalist, because I always think that a vocalist sings a certain melody which should come from something. So when you sing, that melody should be played by a guitar, should be played by a piano, should be played by any instrument that's there. So if a melody cannot be played by any instrument, then for me, it's not a melody. That's a rhythm. Because really cannot write notes on rhythms now. So that's it. So when I have songs, but I think usually what comes to my melody when I write, it usually cello and a saxophone and a trumpet. I think usually those are instruments that comes to mind when I, like Osama is a cello. Fa-da-da-da-da. So when I see someone playing violin and what it's like, actually, in my mind, that's exactly, this is the instrument which was singing the song. It's just that it had lyrics, not really lyrics, it had syllables, because Osama it's not in any language, so it's just those particular syllables. So that's basically it. Like, for instance, my song Asana is a trombone. Like that's like, I don't know, it's kind of like weird. Yeah, I know it's kind of like weird, because I always sometimes say to the guys when I work in the studio, we still don't have a song. We have an instrument, but we still don't have a song. Like, we need to find a song. And once we find a song, here's a song, and then try and extract and just see what we can do with the song, because you can have an instrument and still don't have a song.
Oh yeah. It's the core identity is the
the core identity somewhere. Maybe that it's gonna come from a kick. Maybe it's gonna come from the hats.
Yes.
Maybe it's gonna give you, and then there's like these sounds as you put them together, then they give you a certain melody, and sometimes you'll be like, can you hear this melody? And then someone says, no, there's no melody like that. But just sonically, all these instruments now that you've put together, then they give you. So sometimes when you sit down and you listen to a song and listen to an instrument, it will tell you where the melody is.
Yeah.
Like, it will give you the melody, and you just need to follow. So sometimes, like, I feel like people will always force a song. I listen to a song. I follow the song. I don't force it.
Especially as there's so much copy paste these days, man. Yeah, you hear it in promos all the time. It's so evident.
Exactly. And people don't create no more.
Yes, I know. I think there's you have to almost nurture. Well, no, you have to nurture a mindset of creativity, right? Like, you have to be quite aware of what it means to create, right? Because as you say, there is somehow, you can go to the studio every day. There's no way that every day you go to the studio you're creating a hit records. Like, but the fact that you show up means that on day 20 the transmission has come, and it's like, you're so well oiled because you've been there, you've shown up every day, so you know how to capture it
Yeah.
fast, right?
Yeah, it took me 19 years to make a song, Osama.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I started making music back in 2000.
Yeah.
So Osama made Osama 2020, 20 years, you know, to get to that song. So sometimes like the overnight success is a 20 years overnight success.
Definitely.
You know, it may not take me now very long to make a record, you know, but it took me so many years to get to that level where it doesn't take me very long. But also the very long is very relative. Because for me, it's like I sit down with the song. When everybody would say it's done, I would still say, no, it's not done. You know, and I would always go back because I would say once it's out, it's forever. We'll never be able to rectify the mistakes again. So we might as well just, when we do it, we must do it right and put it out. And who knows, it may be the biggest record, it may be the worst record, but you don't want to have the biggest record with a wrong something that you wanted to fix, and now you can't fix it anymore.
You'll be so annoyed when you hear that.
You're so annoyed when you hear that. Like, so you might as well just take your time,
Yeah.
fix that, and then push the music. And I think a lot of artists fall into a trap of, which is something that I always say, like in my country right now, like amapiano is like the biggest genre. I mean, so when I made Osama, and my record label was not convinced that we were gonna get a radio. I mean, dance music in South Africa is like pop. It's on radio, it's on Billboard, it's on TV. So it's like, I don't know if you're gonna get a space, you know, and get to, and this has to have this music being played on commercial radio stations right now, especially at the height of my piano. Yeah. And I remember saying to them, you cannot dictate to people what they need, what they like and what they don't like. What I can tell you is that whoever that's gonna listen to the song is gonna like it because it's a nice song. I think it's a nice song. So whoever that's gonna listen to the song is gonna like it, you know. Just make people at the radio station listen to it. But I believe, I'm convinced that whoever that's gonna listen to this record is gonna fall in love with this record. That's what I believe. I don't know if it's gonna be a hit record or not, but I believe that whoever that's gonna listen to it, because I think I like it. I think it's a dope song. And I think it's a song that people would like. And obviously I was right, you know. I mean, it's opened a lot of alternatives, you know, even in my country, because even the audiences and some people just thought that, oh, now, because it was Kwaito time, we'll only listen to Kwaito. Oh, now it was a time where it was like dance music, like house, this time, then it was hip hop, this hip hop. So it kind of like said, no, man, we can actually all coexist, you know, because after that, then there was another song that we did with Imali with Kinda Soul, and then there's another one I did with Kususa, Asanda, and so many songs. I mean, the one with Utando, with Dark. So suddenly, radio in South Africa realized that we have another alternative, you know, a genre that people really love, and it can also exist at prime time. You know, it's dance music. You know, it's yes, people may the market share may have been taken by a lot of amapiano sounds, but we also have a huge market of dance music, electronic music, and that's why we're still on radio. That's why we're still happening. And I think the sound that one came up with, it really assisted the genre in South Africa for people to say, yeah, we have another alternative. Now we have so many songs which are Afro tech, Afro house, which on radio, and people now, they are aware that there's an alternative. You know, yeah.
Well, everything's cyclical in this industry, right? And also, you just want to make it the best you can be. Then you can go to sleep with a great conscience, and you never want to get trapped by that trend, right?
Of course.
Good. So we were sitting here, you talked about 20 years, and just off air, we were talking about 5 years. So I'm curious to know, like, are you thinking ahead about the next 20 years? What does that look like?
In 20 years old, I would be like, what, 60, 63, 64?
Yeah, there you go.
Man, I don't know, but sometimes when I go to Ibiza, I see people like the 70-year-olds still rocking.
Still rocking it, yeah.
How old is Carl Cox?
I think he's just turned 60 a couple of years ago.
Couple years ago. So probably like 64 years, 65 years old?
Maybe less than that, I think.
And
maybe
Pip Tong?
Ooh, I should know that. I don't actually know the answer to that question.
Yeah. So, man, I love the fact that with dance music you can grow with it. You know, I mean, the likes of Solomon, the likes of Luciano, David Guetta. These are guys that we knew back then, and when we were young, and they were young then. You know, they are still happening.
Yeah.
Even right now, you know,
the veterans, man.
Like they are veterans, but they're still playing this game at the highest
100%.
level, you know. So I think that's what I love about dance music, that you can only retire when you want to retire, you know. But there's also space for the legends, and there's also space for the youngins, and then there's also space for middle age, you know, and the young adults, you know. I think that's what I love, the spread of how what does it can be able to accommodate almost everybody that wants to stay into the space. It's not an industry for old people or industry for young people. I think it's an industry for everybody that wants to participate in it. Yeah. And I mean, dance music it's probably like the only genre that actually has an island dedicated to the sound.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like there's no any other genre where you're like, I'm going to this country or I'm going to this island, and whatever that I'm going for, I'm going for reggae. Yeah. You know, I'm going for rap. Yeah. I'm going for, and the dance music, I mean, it's the only dance genre that it's the only genre that has the whole island dedicated to it, like
exactly.
For the you know, and it moves like you know, we move there, we go to ADE, we move from ADE, we go to Tulum, you know, move from Tulum, we go to the US for Ultra, we move from Ultra, you know, like we go to Mykonos. It's like, you know, now we want to introduce Cape Town because we're doing a show called Abantu in Cape Town. So we want people when they move people from Ibiza to ADE, from ADE, we want them to come to South Africa for Abantu. Then from Abantu, then they have to go to Tulum. You know, like we are trying to just to sneak in our country, the Cape Town, you know, in South Africa, for people to just come in and experience what they really dance and Afro house and dance music are. Because I think we are like the greatest, and we're like the best when it comes to dance and house music, and it would be beautiful for the world to really see these kids who are doing this music, you know, where they have been to get the fabric, because they dance to their music but they don't know who they are.
It's so true, and exactly, you must see where the origins are, and also the history of humanity as well, but also I think equally as artists we do need to think about eventually the exit strategy, right? Because then you can be really clear as you're creating over these next 20 years, you know, what that looks like. And so talking about exit strategies and stuff like that, I do often think that, you know, artists really should view their careers like they are the CEO of a company. And I'm curious to know if you kind of share this perspective, because in the end is like, you know, you started and you evolved as one person working on the Zakes Bantwini dream, but now you have management, you know, booking agent, PR, like everything, right? So there's a whole team around you, and you are that person who's steering that ship, right? You know, what would your advice be for finding the right talent in your team and particularly nurturing them as well?
I mean, we are so big at that at Mayonie, so big at that. We have an incubate. It's like an incubation. It's like we have a house in Durban. Where we house, you know, upcoming producers and artists, you know, and once they find their feet, then they become global superstars, in which what we want them to be, you know. Kinda Soul comes from that, you know. He was he was housed at Mayonie for 2 years, you know. And now he's on his own. He has his own record label. He's directing his own talent. I mean, we're so big at that. We have Draga, you know. Right now there we have Malena Ora. We have Nana Atta. we have Sky Wonder, we have Black Rhythm, you know, and so many artists that we're still going to, have them, take them to that for an incubation, because we are the business of music, and we love impacting knowledge and really see people, growing the genre. And so I think that's what we pride ourselves at Mayonie for, having Kavir, who help us with PR and strategy at Mayonie. You have Ambali, who's the head head of operations. And we have one talented guy, Lucky, who's the head of A&R, and I think he needs to be. He's one guy who's so important in the industry, because without him, I don't think that Kasanga would have met me. You know, it's Lucky who brought Kasango, and we made Osama, and look where Kasango is. It's like who brought Kinda Soul to me, and Kinda Soul, look at where he is. It's Lucky who brought Kususa. He brings all these young talent, and we get to work with them, and see them become who they are, and we try to share as many information with them as possible. We don't want to, because we know when artists come to this industry, they're probably desperate, right?
Yeah.
But we make sure that we don't take advantage of that. We teach what the business is. We'll only work with the music, but we'll also advise. You need to get a manager. You need to get your. We sometimes don't even sign your publishing until such time when we feel like we have to sign your publishing, because there's a strategy that we want, and we want to use your publishing to get into those particular opportunities, and using that strategy to do those things. We never sign your rights unless there's a plan that we want to do, and we give the best deals. There's nobody who gives fair and best deals surpassing us in South Africa. Whoever that things can do that, if they can come and just prove it, we are the best. When we give artist deals, we give the best percentages. If it comes to anything, if it comes to licensing, we give the best license. If it comes to, we give the best. We give artists more than what any other record label would give. We can give up even up to 50%. Of royalty, or of splits, to artists, and we teach. We able to teach what the split sheets like. What then do you do? Not only that, even in the studio, I spend time with Dragger, I spend time with Kinda Soul, I spend time with the Black Rhythm, and Sam from Gususa, just teaching them on how to mix a song right. I would sit down and be like, no, we do it like this, and also how to make a radio song in South Africa, and how to make it, and I've learned a lot also from them. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. Like, oh, okay, this is where the sound is now. Okay, because now I'm a married man, so I usually don't go out. So these guys are still young. They still go out there, and then they'll come back. So it's like, it's such a perfect balance, and we are so big. We're so big at really bringing people together. Even the Lucky that I'm telling you about, who's an A&R right now. When he met me, he didn't even know what A&R was. I kind of like taught him what to be A&R. But right now, I think it's the best A&R we have in South Africa. And then that's what we do. That's what we believe in.
So you have a very homegrown approach, it seems, to nurturing and building this talent. And
I have, because I think the opportunity that I was given, the guy that gave me, the late Mike Masanganye, he did a lot for me, and the way he did a lot for me, and I wanted to thank him. I was like, I don't know what to do, because he was like the angel. Because I feel like if I didn't meet him, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I was like, I owe you. And he said to me, you don't owe me anything. You know, if you feel like you need to do something for me, just pass it forward. So that has been my thing. So in whatever that I do, even for the artists that I work with, I always say, if you feel like what I've done for you don't even deserve it and you want to thank me, pass it forward. Because the person that gave me this opportunity, he said, to thank him, I need to pass it forward. So the same thing, to thank me, pass it forward. And tell those that you're going to help, then to thank you, they should pass it forward, you know.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. I love that. And if there are artists that are in your incubator and they're getting to that point now where they want to get the management and the booking agency, do you introduce them, or what is your advice? You know, even let's say even outside of your artist incubator, because there'll be many people obviously listening to this who are, you know, artists. What is your advice for finding the right booking agency and the manager? It's very hard these days.
Yeah, I mean, you need to keep checking. You know, and there's nothing wrong with getting into the relationship with somebody, and then you find out that your journey, it's not a long journey. Because there's some journey, there are short journeys, there are mid journeys, and then there are long journeys. You know, like you must understand this thing of finding the right team. It is a long, you know, journey.
Absolutely.
You know, so don't be scared to get into a 1 year relationship or a 2 year relationship, you know, and revisit that relationship and say, okay, are we still in the same, you know, road? Are we still traveling the same? Do we still have the same dreams? Yes. Okay, what's next? This is next. I think what artists do sometimes, which I feel like also artists, they can sometimes be a bit selfish, they themselves, because you have people who are managers who also wants to grow as well. So they will perhaps sometimes help the artist to grow. And when the artist feels like they've grown, then they feel like they don't need that manager.
Yeah, they leave.
Then they leave that manager instead of making sure that you also impact and make this manager grow so that you guys grow together.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I feel like sometimes managers pour a lot when with the little that sometimes that they know, you know, build the artists, make phone calls to podcasts and do all of these things to try and get and try to get the artists into a certain space. And then once the artists get there, then they feel like, I don't need this particular person because now that I've been introduced to who. So I think that's the sharing and also imparting knowledge and also giving opportunities. It doesn't start and ends with certain people.
No.
It's for everybody to do that, you know. What I'm doing, what I've done for Lucky, what I've done for Mbali, you know, what I keep doing for all my artists, you know, it's something that Mike did for me, and I'm doing it for them. But I wish that everybody can then do it, you know, for everybody. But also, you just need to strike a balance. You cannot also take your talent and give it to someone who's junior when your talent is already senior. You know, when you have a senior talent, you have to be able to work with senior. But the person that was junior, just make sure that you can bring them closer to perhaps be closer to the senior guy so that they can learn. So if you're an artist and you've been working with this guy, you know, who was posing as a manager, but now you are a big deal and everybody now there are bigger agencies that want to work with you. You know, there's nothing wrong with you saying, hey, I had this guy who I've been with for a very long time. It will be beautiful to have him as part of my team so that he can learn. You know? He's not learning now to represent you, but he's learning that one day he's gonna go back to represent somebody, you know, who may not be you. But all you are doing now is just we are holding them, we are holding their hands, bringing them into an agency, into a structure for them to learn so that they can go and represent you know, younger talent and bring them into a level where you are. So sometimes those particular opportunities, you know, because you might find out that the guy may not even want you to pay him. It's like, no, all I want is an opportunity to be in those rooms, is to hear how to negotiate, how to make these calls, how to do all of those things. All I want is that, because I understand that I can't represent you anymore. But I also know that I can learn a lot from just being around you, So that once I know that, then I can always go out and look for people that I may represent. So give those opportunities.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful the way you said it. And also I think, in this industry, like I think sometimes people think there's only room for one person at the top or whatever, or to represent a handful of artists to represent the genre. But at the end of the day, if you don't pass on the torch and the knowledge, then this industry can't continue to grow and get bigger and bigger. And if that doesn't happen, there's never going to be space for everyone, right?
Yes, of course.
What do you think is the biggest risk you've ever taken in your career?
Moving from being a frontline artist, going to going back to going behind the decks, and I think that was like the biggest risk here, because I think I've seen like people really enjoyed me, with the microphone, dancing in front of the stage, but I had to accept that how dance music it's consumed outside of South Africa is way too different. In South Africa, you can have a band and perform dance music, and people will enjoy you. Try and bring a band here. It's too acoustic. It's just too much. So, taking that decision, no one. I myself doubted myself, but I knew that it's either I do that or I just forget, because there's no way that I could be able to travel if I don't perform like this. So going behind the decks was one of the biggest risks, and I didn't know what it was going to do, but I did it because I was like, it's the only way, and because I know where it's come from and it's real for me, but I know how unique I am going to be. I don't perform like any other person. Whoever that is performing like me, just know that they've seen me first. Because when I did it, there was nobody. And I see so many people doing it right now, and I love it because I always knew that once I do it, a lot of vocalists would also do the same thing. But it's a good thing because then it says everybody's following you, and they're obviously gonna wait for you now to see what is the next move. So of course.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I was going to ask you about that is, well, kind of going back a little bit to some of the things we were talking about in our previous question is, I think the music industry, it can be a huge breeding ground for narcissism. And of course, it's a flame like no other, right? And igniting egos, because it's so ego driven. And, social media is obviously, is an amplifier for that, right?
Yeah.
Now, have you encountered situations where these opportunities were withheld from you, or there were gatekeepers that prevented you from progressing? And how did you navigate that? And what advice would you then give to others?
They're doing it even now.
Yeah.
They're doing it even now. Don't think that I have emails, of promoters telling me that I'm sorry because so and so said they cannot accept you on a lineup. I have it now. I have it's now. last month.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. But it's must never, there's nobody on earth that is a God who can say what is your opportunity and what's not. No one can ever stop you from shining. They can just delay you. Yeah, that's the only thing they can do, is maybe to delay what is meant for you, that you don't get it today. Yeah, definitely it's coming. But I don't ever say I didn't get that, or I will never be that because that particular person took that thing away. There's nobody who has that power to take anything away from you. Nobody, The only thing they could have, perhaps, is just to delay it. When someone says, hey, do you know, do you have Kavil's number? No, I don't have. Okay. And that may perhaps delay. Probably that particular person may take 2-3 days to get the Kavil's number, but eventually they're going to get Kavil's if they want to get Kavil. So it's that, and no one could ever stop or dim your lights or your greatness, but they doing it even to me now at my level with the Grammy, with so many big records, they're doing it to me now. Yeah. of course.
I think we have to see it, as a game, as chess, right? And you got to think 5 moves ahead, right? And not take it personally because people have
Not
their
at
own
all.
agendas. That's the thing.
No, you shouldn't actually take it. You shouldn't actually take it personal, like at all. You shouldn't even be angry about it. You should actually laugh about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's them, and you mustn't take that energy and have and it's like I've done so many things for artists. They've disappointed me. Some artists, they've hurt me. But I'm never going to stop giving other opportunities to other artists because I was hurt by other artists. It's like, no, you don't have that power of making me stop what I want to do because it's something that you've done. You hurt me, but it's you who've hurt me, not someone else. That now it's like suddenly, so it's like when people are doing that to me, now the day I'm in a position to do it to them, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the same. Like now I'm playing their game.
Exactly.
It's no longer. So I would give an opportunity to a person that denied me an opportunity. And I'm aware that this particular person, when he was in my position, he denied me this opportunity. And now I'm in this position. And then I would also give that opportunity. This one time, one of my artists that I had signed, a person who was representing a record label at that time, representing my label, Mayonie, who was responsible for my artists that I was releasing under that label, took my artists. My artists left me, and then they worked together, and then they resigned from that record label to take my artists, and they worked together. 3, 4, 5 years later, things didn't go well with him and my artists. When I became executive head of A&R at Sony Music Africa, guess who I hired? Him to be promoted, because I knew he was good. I knew he was good, and I knew that what he was doing, it was probably he helped, but I knew he was good. He was going to help others because he helped us to promote my artist. It's just that perhaps I was young. He felt like, I wanted to make more money and stuff like that. But I knew he was great.
Yeah, of course.
So I hired him. So I had an opportunity, and I gave him that particular opportunity. But that's me, because you can never deter or you can never make me shift a person that I am. Like if you have an issue with me right now, man, you have an issue with someone who really doesn't have an issue with you. If you have an issue with what I do right now, you really have an issue with someone that really wants to sort things out. Just want peace, man. That's just what, if you feel like I've wronged you, come, let's talk about it. If I feel like I need to apologize, I'll apologize. I have no ego to say, no, I don't need, or I don't. All I want to be a student again. I want to go into studio. I wanna work with young people, old people. I wanna still learn. I wanna give opportunities that I wanna give everything that I have. It's the reason why I don't even charge for collaborations. I don't, because I can't charge you to create. I can't charge a person to create for something that I don't even know it's come from, and it's come from God. I can charge you a lot of money, and then I get to studio, then nothing comes. Then what happens with the money that I've taken from you? I can charge you for performance, yes, but I can't charge you to create. So if I love your music, Kasango. Nobody knew Kasango before he worked with me. I didn't know Kasango myself. Like he knew Kasango. But I loved the song, and I didn't mind having this guy's name next to mine, even though he was a newcomer. He's Kasango. One, who knows? One day he'll be so big that I will need him. I would need to stand next to him when that day comes. I don't want him to say that guy. When he was bigger than me, he made me feel it. I know. You know what I mean? Like
there's a lot of people like that.
Exactly. It's like this is a very long journey. You cannot be on top forever. You can't be on top forever. Today, when Jay-Z releases a song, it doesn't become number one like an artist that's released last week. But you cannot think that you are now a Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Like no. He might not sell as Drake, but it's Jay-Z. So you can't be on top forever, and that's just me. But I just want you to know that there is no one that is closing the door for you. There's no one that has that. They're just delaying you. They are not closing the door for you. Don't be mad at them because you're gonna spend so much time being mad at them, and then you're gonna forget what we're here for, which is to create and become who you want to be.
And be the best you can be.
Be the best. Exactly, be the best of what you want to be.
There's this quote I always come back to, which is be so good they can't ignore you, right? Because you will. It will just be everywhere. Whatever you do, if that door closes, another one opens.
Just make the song.
Exactly. Just make the song.
Just make the beautiful music. They cannot avoid your music. They can try.
Exactly.
Some try. They do. Some people try to ignore you. They ignore your music. They do. There are those who are like, I don't want to play the song. Hey, but it's there. You may not play it, but the DJ after you is going to play it.
Exactly.
You know, like, the DJ before you, they're going to play it. So it's whatever that you do. Exactly. I'm here. You may not want to accept the fact that I'm here. Hey, but hey, man, I'm here. You know, so it's that particular mindset that young people needs to have. Zakes has no power to stop you from becoming who you are.
Yeah.
Zakes may be ahead of you, but is not greater than you.
And those people, if they're doing it to you, they're doing it to others. And those people are also still shining through.
Hence I'm saying, like, they are doing it to me. So if you're thinking like you think like at Zakes' level, there's nobody. Listen, they are doing it to me.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest misconception about the scene in South Africa right now?
The misconception about scene in South Africa, I don't think that I have that. I think what people do not know, it's not actually the misconception.
Okay,
I think what I say, what people do not know about South Africa is that we have the biggest market in South Africa for dance music.
In the world?
One of the biggest.
One of the biggest, yeah.
Yeah. It's dance music is like, it's like I said, I think probably in the world, it's only in South Africa that dance music, that DJs will do GQ covers.
Wow.
Will do billboards, will have beverage endorsements, will be on television. I think it's all in South Africa where you have DJs who can be that of a superstardom. Like, I mean, I have a show in Cape Town that I do in the stadium for 15,000 people. I mean, it's like, dance music in South Africa, it's pop. Yeah.
And why do you think it is that? Because
we're a dancing nation.
Yes.
I think we are a dancing nation. I mean, like TikTok, I think South Africa just rose TikTok with dance challenges and everything. Like I'm a piano and the stuff that is about. Like when I look at how the world is dancing and the dance challenges, all those challenges are from South Africa. We seriously are a dancing nation. I think we're by far one of the best dancing nation in the world. Like we can really, really, really dance. I think we've got style, and like I think we've got swag, and we finesse ourselves on that particular dance floor. And I think we are so unique when it comes to that. And I think that's what maybe the world is missing. You know, that it's missing that particular ingredient. Hence, that's why we're doing Abantu, and Abantu is going to convert into a conference where everybody comes to South Africa and really enjoy what South Africa, is about. Culture, the fabric of what makes South Africa South Africa. Because I think we are one of the best countries. We have champions of rugby. Yeah. We have a champion of UFC.
Absolutely.
So we are really. I mean, we are the most awarded country with on the Grammys in Africa. Like, so South Africa is like it has the biggest number of Grammy winners. And
you have many Olympic athletes too.
And we've got we're holding a world record for 400 meters. So we really are. Yeah.
So everybody must come after ADE to South Africa.
After ADE comes to South Africa, the 16th of December, we are in South Africa. The 16th of December in South Africa. So after ADE, everybody from the ADE comes to South Africa. It's the biggest. It's gonna be the biggest the dance festivals, and we're gonna do a workshop, this year, but. The idea, obviously, is like after so many years, we want people to just come there for 3, 4, 5 days, to be in the country so that they would understand what the country is, and we can talk about different topics around dance music, and then it will culminate into the show. Yeah.
And go on safari after if you can, obviously.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Last question before we move on to our final bits, which the next round is guest questions. But I know that recently you worked on Bob Sinclair's iconic track, Love Generation.
Yeah, Love Generation, amazing, yeah.
Yeah, so what was your approach to reimagining like such an anthem that defined, generations, right?
Man, working on that song, yeah, I felt, because I have a memory of that song. I remember this guy DJ Bongs, is a DJ, one of the big DJs in South Africa. At that time, I was still a student. We were on a school trip, and he was playing the music, and then it was raining. So it started raining, and it then rained heavily, and then he played that song, and we just went mayhem. We we just took out our t-shirts straight into the rain with a boom, boom, boom. I remember that vividly. So when the guys reached out for me to work on that song, I was like, wow, man. I mean, who knew? Who knew that I'm actually, because I was studying music. It's like who knew that I'm actually right now working on a song that I have such a beautiful memory. Working with Bob Sinclair is one of the best things. I mean, he's a legend in this game. He's definitely one of the legends in this game. So it was such a beautiful thing just to have a contribution to that song, which defined dance music, especially for us in South Africa. And I know it did that also in Europe. I mean, I remember it was one of the biggest songs in Ibiza at that time.
Of course. The world.
Yeah. I actually feel like, I don't be surprised when I'm actually even remaking it again, because I feel like, okay, I did, but I feel like there's something more I could still do with the song, and I'm probably gonna go back again and just do more, and just reimagine it again, reinterpret it again, because I think it's one of my favorite collaborations I've had in the industry. Yeah.
And how did you approach it? I mean, creating?
Man, I called her. I was in the studio with Nana Atta.
Yep.
And we actually took some of the elements which were there, like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, we wanted to do like a stadium status, kind of like an approach. I could just imagine people singing along to this, So I think that's what the approach was like. Be in the stadium, think of everybody singing along. What kind of a melody you can come up with that everybody can sing along? So that's how we approach it. So straight off of Africa. So it's like, okay, it's big, and that line was important for me, like straight out of Africa. Because the first one that says from Jamaica. So this one was like, this is straight from Africa, and we're spreading the love onto the world. Yeah. So that's that.
Now, speaking of Nana Atta, she sent in a question for you for our guest questions.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And wow. She asks, what advice can you give to female singers in the Afro tech space to help them succeed?
Man, I think they should be more selfish. I wouldn't say this to DJs in the Afrotech space because they're already selfish. But I think females need to be more selfish. More selfish about their contribution onto the song. And say, where is this song placing me, and where is this song going, and what is this going to do for me? I know it's going to do for you, but what it's going to do for me. So as I get into this collaboration, what does this collaboration means for me as a vocalist? Where I want to be placed. Do I want to be a feature, or do I want to be an end? And also when I get into this, when I get into this, is this going to have a music video? And also when we launch this, am I going to be there? Are we ever going to be seen performing this song together? And if yes, where and when? You have these big shows that you're doing now. that you're traveling to, you know, and you're playing the song with my vocals, and people don't know me, but they know you. How can I attach myself onto the song so that the song also grows me as a vocalist? That's a kind of conversation that I know it is a bit selfish, but I have them because as a vocalist, I just want to let you know that DJs are so selfish. You know, you are working with one of the most selfish people in the industry when you're working with DJs. So be as selfish as them.
Yeah, especially if they are at that level where they can afford to have you at the show, right? If it's a different
Yeah.
level, then it's a different story,
Of
right?
course, when they're still starting up, yes,
of
it's a
course.
different step. But when they're at the level where they can. I mean, I'm not saying they should take you everywhere.
Of course, but some key
just
ones.
just one, two.
Yeah.
Just key ones.
Exactly.
Just one or two shows during summer in Europe. Says, okay, this is the biggest Coachella. This is our Coachella Ultra.
Exactly.
Exit Festival.
Exactly.
You know, Tomorrowland. This is a big deal. And I know I'm playing the song that we did. If he can be able to bring you there.
And just think of the audience. What that extra value you're giving to the audience.
Ask him to bring you.
100%.
So that's what I would say to what I would say to female vocalists. Be selfish.
Okay, nice. Kavir, he had to send a question in as well. But I will add, he is an avid listener of Mission Makers. So so he says, tell us more about your wife, Nandi. She's a mum, musician, and a presenter with her own show on Apple Music. How do you guys both manage such impressive careers and be such good parents? You're always so family orientated, but you're still, on show.
Man, I think it's because we planned to have the kids, and we planned to have our lives, and we planned to get married. When my wife, while we were dating, we actually knew the day we're gonna have kids, we'll be married. You know, so we knew it in that order. We're gonna get married first, and then we're gonna have kids. You know, and we knew what would that mean. You know, I mean, she's done so much sacrifices for me to have this career. Because she, like I said, she's a musician. She's on her own. I mean, she has so many opportunities that she's had, and she had to turn them down so that she can spend time with our kids while I'm away. So, but it's the sacrifice that she did for our family. So I'm very much aware that this sacrifice I'm doing it's not only my sacrifice, because she could be doing the same thing. She has turned down so many opportunities that were coming, I mean, her way. I mean, she's featured as one of the leads for Black is King on Beyonce, you know, as Nala there, you know, and that actually came with a lot of opportunities after. But she chose to turn them down so that she can give me an opportunity to do it, to provide, you know. And I think maybe she didn't want to take that away from me, like, because as men, we know we want to provide, you know. But I mean, who knows? She maybe she would have made a lot of money than me, but she took that decision of saying, no, I would rather do it like this, you know. Now she's at home, you know, working for Apple Music in South Africa, you know. And I think that we had a conversation. We had a conversation about it, and I think it worked out because I think both parties were willing. My wife was willing to take that sacrifice for our family, and just give me an opportunity to try and provide for them. Yeah.
Very, very beautiful as well. And it's about sharing these opportunities together as well, and creating that roadmap for your children, right?
Yeah.
Okay, a final section of this interview is our quick fire round. So just a couple of seconds on each question, couple of questions. Okay, so if you could spend a day with Nelson Mandela, what would you do? Where would you go? Where would you take him?
With Nelson, I will take him into the studio.
Oh, obviously. Okay, that was a silly question.
I will take him into the studio.
Yeah.
But apart from anything else, I would convince them to pump a lot of money and tell the government of South Africa to really pump a lot of money into arts and culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
does the government support arts and culture in South Africa?
It does, but it doesn't have a lot of money to do so. Yeah, so the South African government still sees arts and culture as an important, but by it more or less of a by the way, but it's one of the most important ones. So I would say to Nelson Mandela, because they would listen to him, can you just make sure that the treasurer of the country pumps a lot of money? Like they are supporting the mining industry. Can they support the arts exactly as they are supporting the mining industry? Because arts and culture supports a lot of young people, and we have a huge issue in South Africa of youth unemployment, and I think it could be kept. Not really, but I think maybe arts and culture can really employ maybe 3 to 4%, because right now I think probably we're heading straight now to 45, if not 50% of youth unemployment. So
it's enormous.
In that probably if we can take 5%, I mean that's a lot. That's a lot. So that's a huge chunk. I mean, arts, culture, and creative industry in 2017, 2018, it employed more than the mining industry. But the mining industry, in South Africa, but the mining industry, they pump in a lot of money in the mining industry. But arts and culture, not a lot of, but it was able to hire and employ more people than the mining industry, that the government is spending millions and millions of rands in investment. So I'll say that, I will be like, yo, Nelson, please, the President Nelson Mandela, if you can speak to the cabinet and ask them to pump a lot of money.
Definitely, and there's probably such a huge income gap between the actual people who work in mining, right? As well, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And fulfillment as well. Let's be honest. Arts and creativity is a different type of fulfillment.
Arts and creativity it's enormous. It's huge. We don't come here in London and go to America because of how amazing a politician or how good business is. No, we come here because of the bridge. You're going to London Bridge, which is an architect, that is an artist. We go and look at the museum. That's art. We travel the world seeking for art and culture. That's where we travel the world for. We go to Paris to look at the Eiffel Tower because of the design. We go to America because we want to see that musicians and the actors and everybody else. We don't go to America for something else. We go to America for that. We go to all these countries because we wanna eat their food, wanna see their fashion, wanna listen to their music, wanna understand the fabric of what that makes that country. And then when we're there, we're like, actually, I can invest here. Actually, this is what I can do here. Actually, this is that's exactly why we know the country. We know the countries because of their culture and of their arts. Most people know South Africa now because of Amapiano, not because of mining industry. So and you have people saying, I want to go to South Africa now, and then they're going to get to South Africa, they're probably going to spend a lot of money when they're there through tourism, tourism, arts and culture and stuff. So it's such a huge industry, creative industry. And that's what I would actually I'll speak to Mandela about, because they will listen to him and then to sensitize everybody else coming after him to just be very sensitive when it comes to arts and culture. Yeah.
Amazing. Has there ever been, or is there an ancestral South African proverb that's guided you on your journey that you kind of just hold dear to you?
It's my mother, actually. She used to say, dreams delayed are not dreams denied.
Say that again, sorry?
Dreams delayed and not dreams denied.
Okay, fair.
And that maybe also allude on what I said earlier on, that there's nobody that has the power. There's no one who can play God. There's no one that has power to shut you down. They may just delay you, but you
from
definitely
your destiny,
I think it's just So
it's in your destiny. It's in there.
It just speaks to that. Yeah.
Okay, nice. What's your most special place to have a romantic dinner in South Africa?
Special place to have a romantic dinner in South Africa. You're saying a restaurant or the city?
I'll let you answer how you wish.
A restaurant will be Mabo.
Okay. In which city is that?
In Johannesburg.
Okay.
The city will be Cape Town, but for fun, will be Durban.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
So I will eat in Johannesburg. go and be romantic and stroll in Cape Town, just look at the mountains.
Wow.
But then go and just swim and then do all these beach activities in Devon. Yeah.
Nice. And final question we always close off with this question is, what are you most grateful for this month?
What am I most grateful for this month? Is an opportunity to do this, music thing at Burning Man this year.
That's a big
again.
one.
Yeah, did it last year, so I'm going there again this year. Such a different world, We did Africa Pen early this year. Met some couple of amazing people, and I cannot wait to see friends that I've managed to create over the years, like last year at Burning Man and then Africa Pen this year. So it's gonna be a biggest one for me. This year, I think that's what I'm grateful for. That's what I'm looking forward to. And also, tomorrow here in London, to support my boys, Scorpion Kings, as they in the journey of really of a global takeover with the sound piano, and it's just beautiful for me just to be part of that and just be there to support them. I'm playing right before them and I'm playing Afro House, so it's like it's just to prove that we can all coexist. And shout out to the team, for giving Afro House a prime spot. Yeah. So those are just two things that I'm excited for this month.
Nice. Well, wishing you an amazing burn and enjoy tomorrow at Piano People.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Zakes Bantwini. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, man. When you come to South Africa, I love what the setup here. I think when you come for Abantu in December, we're gonna have a podcast for you as well. There's so many questions that we want to ask you and find out. But thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed having this conversation. If you want to grab a copy of today's show notes, then head over to missionmakers.com, where you'll also find notes from all of our previous episodes. And if you're interested in talking to me about future opportunities at Davos, producing podcasts, or coming down to some of our music and motorsports events, then you can reach out to me at Mission Makers or at dj.n1nja on Instagram. Thank you as ever for listening, and until next time, keep it laser focused.